Minnesota, known for its more than 11,000 lakes, is home to over 5.7 million people. Yet, most of these people, around 75%, live in the southeastern region, leaving other areas less populated. This raises questions about why so many people are concentrated in that part of Minnesota and why the state has a northern area that seems like it should be part of Canada. In today's video, we're diving into Minnesota's unique population distribution. Despite being a large state, most of its people live in just a small area. We're also going to look at a peculiar piece of land that Minnesota owns, which is attached to Canada and, surprisingly, not the US. History. Minnesota has a unique and complex history that sets it apart from other states, notably for being settled long before modern heating technology. Initially, the region was home to indigenous tribes, mainly the Dakota in the southwest and the Ojibwe in the northeast. Although close geographically, these tribes came from different ancestral groups, the Dakota from the Sioux and the Ojibwe from the Anishinaabe. Their lives changed dramatically with the arrival of European explorers, particularly the French in the late 1600s, attracted by the fur trade and using the Great Lakes for access. The area was hotly contested by France and Britain until it was handed over to the US after the American Revolution in 1783. The US later established Fort Snelling in 1820, becoming a key trade and military center. Interestingly, it was German and Scandinavian immigrants, lured by promises of free, fertile land, who most influenced the region's European cultural landscape. By 1940, a significant portion of the population spoke a language from one of these European countries. The US government's interactions with the native Dakota and Ojibwe tribes, often through unfair treaties like the 1851 Treaty of Traverse des Sioux, led to the loss of their ancestral lands. Minnesota's transition to a US territory in 1849 and then a state in 1858 was marked by rapid population growth due to European immigration. However, the state also faced serious challenges, such as the Dakota War of 1862, which led to the displacement and death of many Dakota people and was followed by the largest mass execution in US history. Minnesota's history is not only intriguing, but also complex, with a geography that is quite distinct from its neighboring states. Geography. Minnesota, often called the land of 10,000 lakes, is a state with diverse landscapes and unique physical features. It's located in a northern part of the United States, near several important geographic zones in North America. The state is famous for its many lakes, over 11,000, more than its nickname suggests. The name Minnesota possibly comes from a Dakota word meaning clear blue water or cloudy water, which fits many of its lakes. These lakes and rivers, including the famous Mississippi River that starts in Minnesota, greatly influence the state's geography. In the northeast, you'll find the Canadian Shield, an area with rocky ground, dense forests, and not so great soil. The southeast part of the state features the driftless area, which missed the last ice age glaciation, leaving it with the unique landscapes like deep valleys and bluffs. Most of Minnesota, however, was shaped by retreating glaciers, resulting in a landscape that's mostly flat or gently rolling, filled with lakes, and has fertile soil, especially in the Northwest's Red River Valley, known for its farming. The state's southwest transitions into tall grass prairies, part of the larger Great Plains, an area that was once prairie land but is now mostly used for agriculture. Minnesota's climate is typically very cold in the winter and warm in the summer, fitting its continental climate. This leads to a variety of ecosystems, from northern boreal forests to southern and western prairies. The state's location means its weather can be quite unpredictable, with frequent changes in temperature and rainfall. Overall, Minnesota is quite flat, but it does have some variation in elevation. The highest point is Eagle Mountain, which is 2,301 feet above sea level in the northeast near Lake Superior, the largest and deepest Great Lake. Although Lake Superior helps moderate the climate nearby and is important for shipping and trade, not many people live in northern Minnesota. Instead, most choose to live in the southeastern, more inland part of the state. Twin Cities. If you are familiar with Minnesota's geography and people, you'll likely know that the area we're discussing is mainly the Twin Cities, the state's biggest metropolitan region, made up of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Most Minnesotans live here, with Minneapolis being the main economic center and St. Paul the state capital, creating a unique balance between the two. Known as the Twin Cities, this name is quite special worldwide. The growth of the Twin Cities is due to its geographic location, economy, and history. Northern and western Minnesota, despite having similar climates, are less populated because they lack these advantages. Minneapolis and St. Paul grew significantly because they are located where the Mississippi and Minnesota rivers meet. The Mississippi River, North America's largest, provided a key transportation route and power for milling. Minneapolis was known for its milling industry, thanks to St. Anthony Falls, the only significant natural waterfall on the Mississippi. Additionally, the area's proximity to Minnesota's extensive timber resources boosted its growth through logging. The introduction of the railroad in the 1860s further increased Minneapolis's development by connecting it to eastern and western markets. The Twin Cities became an agricultural center, linking the Dakota Territory's farmlands to Chicago and New York City, and grew into a commercial hub for the upper Midwest, focusing on banking, healthcare, and retail. In northern and western Minnesota, the lower population is due to rough terrain, dense forests, and a colder climate with heavy snowfall, making agriculture difficult. Today, the Twin Cities house about 3.7 million people, or 65% of Minnesota's population. This is much more than in other parts of the state, like Duluth, 288,000 people, Rochester, 221,000, and St. Cloud, 201,000. Even Fargo in North Dakota, which includes some Minnesotans, has about 246,000 residents. This shows how dominant the Twin Cities are and how sparsely populated other areas of Minnesota are, including the unique Northwest Angle. Northwest Angle. The Northwest Angle, located in northern Minnesota, is a small piece of land that is part of the United States but separated from the rest of the country. It's an unusual situation caused by historical agreements and early map errors. The story starts with the 1783 Treaty of Paris, which ended the American Revolutionary War and was meant to define the border between the US and what would become Canada. At that time, it was wrongly thought that the Mississippi River started much further north. The treaty planned to connect the border from Lake of the Woods to the Mississippi to give the US access to this important river. Later, more accurate surveys found that the Mississippi actually starts further south. In 1818, the US and Britain agreed on the 49th parallel as the main border line from the Lake of the Woods to the Rocky Mountains. To honor the original treaty, they decided that the border would go south from the northwest point of Lake of the Woods to the 49th parallel, then west along it. This decision created the Northwest Angle, which is north of the 49th parallel and cut off from the rest of the US. Most people in Minnesota live in the southeastern part, mainly because the Twin Cities are the state's main economic and cultural centers. Minnesota's geography is unique, not just because of its many lakes, but also because it includes the Northwest Angle. And that concludes our video. I hope you enjoyed learning more about Minnesota's geography. Don't forget to hit that like button and let me know what you think in the comments below. Check out Luxury Xplore for more contents just like this one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.